E ngā iwi o te motu tēnā koutou katoa. Aotearoa, New Zealand now has 2 cases of Omicron in the community. The first is a chart-topping British DJ here to play at the Rhythm and Alps Music Festival. DJ Dimension left isolation too early and visited a number of locations in Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland, while positive. The second case is an Air New Zealand crew member. Ashley Yates is across developments and joins us now. Ashley, what more do you know about the second case?
Orini, this Air New Zealand crew member worked on a flight between Auckland and Sydney on the 24th of December. 3 days later, they tested positive for Omicron and is linked to cases on that flight. They are now in managed isolation and 8 close contacts have been identified, 7 of which have all received negative results. But more people are awaiting test results after they were caught up socialising with a DJ called Dimension. This chart-topping British DJ wasn't devoted to our COVID-19 regulations. Dimension, whose real name's Robert Etheridge, now centre stage in an Omicron scare.
I think it's really disappointing that it's clear that the person didn't follow all of the rules, and one of the critical ones here is you wait until you've had your negative day 9 test before you get out and about again.
He didn't, leaving self-isolation without the test result.
Obviously no one wants to see us dealing with this right between Christmas and New Year.
Dimension arrived in Auckland in mid-December. Did his 7 days in MIQ, taking us to the 23rd of December. Then he says he went into his 3-day self-isolation period on Waiheke Island. That's when this photo was posted. He took a day 9 test around the same time. By Boxing Day and the day after, he was already visiting all of these locations of interest, meaning that when the test result came back positive on the 27th, he had already been out and about for 2 days with Omicron.
We've gone from a situation where we could have had 2 or 3 close contacts to one where we've got potentially up to somewhere around 100 people, including some people who were expecting to perform, and they've unwittingly or unknowingly found themselves in this situation.
Including 47 people who were at this Auckland nightclub, Impala.
They're being followed up with phone calls and they're being asked to isolate and to get tested.
A private event that's a cause for concern.
People are close to each other. If there's lots of noise, you have to get even closer. You're shouting at each other. Perfect environment for COVID in particular, in general, and Omicron in particular.
The mystery remains, how did Dimension become infected? At this stage, there's no evidence he caught it at this MIQ facility. Professor Michael Baker believes there's 2 other likely possibilities. He had a long incubation period, or it's a historical infection.
So this can happen. A person can be infected, they can recover, they can have negative tests, and then they can have an unexpected positive test. Even months later sometimes.
Taking to social media, Etheridge has apologised, saying he's devastated by the situation and only entered the community on the understanding he completed quarantine. But the COVID-19 response minister says the self-isolation rules are clear.
MIQ makes sure people are very well briefed when they leave as to what the expectations of them are during their self-isolation period.
And he would have been given this booklet, which says don't leave isolation until you've had the results of the day 9 test. Social media users lashed out with what Etheridge called hate and abuse, but people we spoke to today were more forgiving.
He's come from London, hasn't he? They've got like a 60% vaccination rate. It's like, that's the risk. What are we going to do, not let people come from England?
I'm hopefully getting my boosters soon. I'm not too worried about it. If it's not him, it'll be somebody else, right? So, no, I don't have any judgment.
The minister wouldn't rule out penalties, but social media may have already done the job.
Obviously, there are penalties under the COVID-19 Public Health Response Act, but ultimately, I think there's already a reasonably significant penalty playing out in the public arena at the moment.
A different type of arena to the one this DJ is used to selling out.
Ashley, people entering the country now are expected to spend 10 days in managed isolation. So why didn't the DJ, Robert Etheridge, do that?
Dimension was part of one of the last international groups that was allowed to self-isolate for 3 days after completing 7 days in managed isolation. This has all since changed due to the threat of Omicron. On the 21st of December, COVID-19 Response Minister Chris Hipkins, he changed this rule, lengthening the stay in MIQ to 10 days with no self-isolation. However, this might have come too late because it didn't affect Dimension's isolation plans.
Ashley, tēnā koe.